Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to untangle the completely overwhelming alphabet soup that is Samsung's smartphone lineup. Look, if you're in the market for a new device, you already know just how incredibly complicated the landscape has become, right? And let's be real, Samsung is arguably the biggest offender when it comes to crazy naming conventions. But hey, don't worry. By the end of our time together today, you are going to be an absolute expert at decoding this entire lineup.
Be honest with me for a second. Do you ever feel just completely overwhelmed by the sheer number of Samsung options out there? You log onto a website or, you walk into a carrier store, and instead of a simple, straightforward, good, better, best setup, you're bombarded with this seemingly random string of letters. It's like you just want a phone that takes great photos or maybe one with a battery that actually lasts all day, but you literally have to decode a cipher just to figure out where to start.
It really does feel like absolute chaos. S, A, Z, M, F, XCover. It feels way less like a technology catalog and more like someone dumped a messy game of Scrabble on the table. But I promise you, there is actually a very strict, highly organized logic behind all these letters. So let's take this chaos and organize it logically so you'll know exactly which letter was engineered specifically for you.
Okay, let's kick things off with Tier 1, the premium powerhouses.
Let's dive right into the heavy hitters, the top tier for those of you who want the absolute best or the most futuristic tech on the market today. First up, we've got the Galaxy S series. If we had to define this in the simplest terms, the Galaxy S is basically the best normal Samsung phone you can buy. This is their main flagship line. When you think of that premium, classic, top-of-the-line Samsung experience, yep, this is exactly what you're picturing. It's the standard bearer for the whole brand.
Now, when you're paying that flagship premium, you're getting the absolute best cameras, the most stunning displays, the fastest processors, and top-tier premium materials. The models at the very top of this family, I'm talking about the S Ultra models, are the absolute pinnacle of performance. Literally no compromises. So if you're a mobile gamer, a digital creator, or an avid photographer who absolutely demands top-tier specs, well, the S series is your undisputed home.
Actually, for you longtime Samsung fans out there, here's a pretty fascinating piece of smartphone history. You might be wondering, hey, what happened to the beloved Galaxy Note? The old S Pen flagship? Well, it was officially discontinued, but it didn't really die. It was essentially absorbed and replaced by those massive S Ultra style phones we were just talking about. So the premium stylus experience totally lives on, it's just hanging out under a different letter now.
Moving right along in our premium tier, we have the Galaxy Z series. To translate that one simply, these are the foldables. This is the futuristic, highly stylish, and yeah, let's be real, very expensive family of phones. If the S series is all about standard perfection, the Z series is about completely pushing the boundaries of what a smartphone can physically do.
Now, within the Z lineup itself, you actually have two totally distinct choices. On one hand, you've got the Galaxy Z Fold, which opens up like a mini tablet. It's an absolute multitasking powerhouse for tech lovers. But on the other hand, you have the Galaxy Z Flip. This one folds down like a stylish, compact, old-school flip phone, but it's packed with modern tech. So really, it's a choice between maximizing your screen real estate or minimizing your pocket footprint. Kinda cool, right?
All right, let's step down from the ultra-luxury tier and get into Tier 2, the everyday value champions.
These are the smart, budget-friendly choices led by the hugely popular Galaxy A series. The simple meaning here? This is the best value for most people, period. In fact, this is probably the most common Samsung series you'll see out in the wild for regular users. It gives you a really clean Samsung experience without completely breaking the bank. The whole vibe of the A series is affordable and balanced. You're getting good displays, solid batteries, and really decent cameras for significantly less money than the S series. If you're the kind of person who just wants a reliable daily driver, something that handles texting, browsing, and casual photos perfectly, the A series is precisely what you're looking for. It is the ultimate sweet spot for students and budget-conscious buyers.
But hey, what if your absolute biggest daily frustration is your phone dying by 3 p.m.? We've all been there, right? Enter the Galaxy M series. We define this one simply as the big battery budget phone. The M series focuses almost entirely on massive battery life, huge screens, and keeping that price point nice and low. We literally call it the battery beast. The M series is perfect for folks who consume content all day long, whether you're streaming endless YouTube videos or just doom scrolling through social media and absolutely hate running out of charge. If you're a heavy traveler or maybe a student who's away from a wall outlet from dawn till dusk, this phone is specifically designed to outlast your day.
Now, just before we leave this value tier, we do have to briefly mention the Galaxy F series. This one is very similar to the M series in that it focuses heavily on value, battery, and display, but it's primarily targeted at budget users buying online in specific global markets. So it's basically an online-focused phone. Depending on where in the world you happen to be shopping, you might see this pop up as an excellent alternative.
Moving on, let's look at Tier 3, the specialists.
Here's the crucial point. If you don't neatly fit into that premium flagship tier or the everyday value tier, Samsung hasn't forgotten about you. First up for the specialists is the Galaxy FE, which stands for Fan Edition. Think of this as a cheaper, flagship-style phone. The FE is really the perfect middle ground. It attempts to give you that premium flagship feel and those highly sought-after S-series features, but at a significantly lower price. So you might not get every single bell and whistle from the ultra-expensive models, but you get about 90% of the experience without that massive ultra price tag. And finally, to round out the letters, we have the Galaxy XCover. This is the ultimate tough work phone. The XCover series is Samsung's line of rugged, business-focused phones. We're talking incredible durability, serious water resistance, tough build quality, and customizable hardware keys. Basically, survival takes total priority over sleek aesthetics here. If you work in construction, do a ton of outdoor fieldwork, or just need a device for a team that takes a serious beating, the XCover is virtually indestructible compared to a standard phone.
All right, let's bring it all together with your ultimate buying guide. Let's put all this knowledge to work with a master cheat sheet to solve your smartphone buying confusion once and for all. It's actually pretty simple when you lay it out like this. Want the absolute best camera and performance? Your letter is S. Are you a tech lover wanting to multitask on a foldable screen? Look at the Z. Just a normal user wanting great value? The A series is all yours. Heavy battery user? Grab the M. Budget buyer shopping online? Find the F. Want a flagship feel for less money? The FE is your sweet spot. And if you're an outdoor or work user needing serious durability, you need the XCover. See? It directly links your personal needs to the exact right letter. Samsung's lineup looks totally confusing at first glance, but once you understand the families, it becomes super easy.
You now have the master key to decoding what is arguably one of the most confusing lineups in tech. You understand exactly what you're paying for, and more importantly, what you actually need. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought as you prepare to make your next big tech purchase. Now that you finally know the alphabet, which letter are you?